And all right. And can you see that?
How do you do speaker view?
The top right-hand corner, it just says view.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaker.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
don't be silly. Don't be silly. Okay, great. Well, hello. Thank you guys for giving me some time today to talk about Prezi Video. I did this presentation initially at a technology conference that we had in the spring, and it was with Ann Hoffman. She's not here with us today, but that's okay. So before I get started, I really just wanted to make it clear that there's no conflict of interest here, no commercial interest. We have to pay for Prezi just like you will if you decide to get it. But we really just think it's great, and I wanted to share it with you. And when Michelle asked, I was really on board because I love showing, new information. So I'm just hoping to show you how valuable it can be and how your students can use it. And so you're already getting kind of a feel for what it is. And so it's really about presenting and having your students be able to see you at the same time with your slides. All right, so let's talk about cost for a minute though and get it out of the way, because nobody even wants to sit through like a 10 or 15-minute presentation if they can't afford this product, right? And we've all been there. We have this great product that someone's telling us all about, and then we find out it's $100 a year. Well, that's worthless to me, right? So we'll see. All right, so here's cost. Prezi offers a different educator discounts and all kinds of things. So if you do the EDU version, the EDU Plus is what we use. It's about $36 a year. It comes out to $3 a month. So it's definitely affordable if you're willing to pay for it. And we realize some people are not, but they do offer a 14-day free trial. So you can go in there and see how it works and see if it's something that you wanted to do. So that's really good. I haven't used it in a while because we've been face-to-face. So I'm getting back into the swing of things. All right, so we know it's affordable if it's something that you want to use. So let's talk about why you might like it. Creating a personal connection with our students in a virtual classroom or an online class, which I think a lot of you guys are teaching, it's hard, right? It's hard for us to have that connection, and it's really hard for our students too. And what I don't want to have to do is choose between showing my content or showing me, because I think showing me is half the battle. I think I'm a great teacher, of course, don't we all? And I think that part of what helps students learn is seeing me and seeing, my hands moving and my everything that I do and the facial expressions that I make and all of that. With Prezi Video, they can either have pre-recorded, so you can record yourself like this, or you can do it live like we're doing it now. And as an educator that sometimes your slides really aren't the most important thing, right? So there's no reason for me to make this slide bigger. That's not going to help you at all. There's nothing on it, right? It's nothing. It's just for show. But my facial expressions and my body language and my wrinkles in my forehead, those are the things that you're going to remember and connect with while you're hearing content. And our students want to see us, really. They don't want these, voiceover PowerPoints where it's just a big picture on a screen and a voice coming out. And even presentation software, if I was just showing my slides, I'd be here on Zoom, but I would be in a very small box, right? I would be in a very small box in the corner, and my slides would take up the whole screen. And I just wasn't a fan of that either. So lots of different things that we can do with this. All right, so live streaming presentations is real easy with Prezi Video, and it's already configured to work with Zoom and WebEx and what other platform that you use. And you can see that now because we're using it. Let me make that a little bigger for you. And even though we are back to face-to-face in the undergrad program, we have all learned this past few years that there's a lot of different ways to teach our classes. We conduct our meetings differently now. We go to conferences even differently. So we're doing a lot of things really differently. And that doesn't have to stop. In fact, it didn't with us. We have several different styles of lectures that we're using face-to-face and online, and we're really mixing it up. And the undergraduate school wants us to do that. We know that students have learned a lot of different ways to learn too, right? It doesn't have to be so traditional like we kind of think it had to. And speaking of variety, Prezi Video also gives you a ton of different templates you can choose from. You can see mine is just this pretty pink, but it doesn't have to be. You can customize your presentation to match your style or maybe your content. Do you want your lecture to resemble maybe a news broadcast like in the bottom left there? How fun would that be for your students? And it's just different. And that's what our students want to see, because after years of school, we all know the same kind of lecture styles over and over. It just gets old. So you can customize the look of your presentation the same way that you've been customizing your PowerPoint slides for years, right? We all use PowerPoint. We all are trying to find new ways to use them and new templates, that maybe are funner or just different. And this can allow you to do that. So let's talk about PowerPoint versus Prezi for just a minute, because I know I've been using Prezi since I started teaching. It was how I started writing all my lectures, so it was very easy for me. But when other educators see me using it or they ask me about it, once I explain it to them, the first thing they say is, well, I already have everything in PowerPoint, right? Why would I do this? Why would I switch everything? Because it would be work. And I can understand you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Like, really, who has time to do that these days and write new lectures? And a few years ago, I will say that it was pretty tricky to try to convert a PowerPoint into a Prezi, but now it's not. With Prezi Video, you don't have to compete. You literally can just import all of your PowerPoint slides with their formatting, with their styles that you've already, made great. And you can just put them right into Prezi and use them like this. So it would be your actual PowerPoint slides would be right here on the screen with you. This is my Prezi Video Desktop App. Let me zoom in. They actually just went through an upgrade, so it does look a little bit different now, but it's same concept. You can see my recent videos are there. You can see how easy it is to import those PowerPoint slides right in. It's just the click of a button. It takes a couple of minutes, depending on how many, right? Because some of you guys are probably 80 slide teachers and some of you are 20 slide teachers. So if you're an 80 slider, then it's probably going to take you a little bit longer, but just grab a cup of coffee and come back and you'll be ready to record or present live. And here, there's really just a lot of things that you can do aside from importing your existing PowerPoints. You can create new videos. And you could add images. You could do so many things. You could add an image of your syllabus, and you could do this maybe in a initial meeting that you're having. And you can also import from Prezi Present, which is their online software, if you've ever used that in the past, which is nice. Oh, look, there you go. My hair's a little darker than that, isn't it? All right, look, recording lectures really couldn't be easier with Prezi Video. This is a screenshot of my recording screen. At the top, you can see my notes. So as you're recording a lecture, you can have your notes and what you want to say right there on the screen. And in this recent update that they just did, that's these here. In this recent update that they did, your notes, actually, you can pop them out and put them anywhere on your screen now. So your students won't see them, obviously, but you can see them. And then at the bottom right, you can see your next slide. You always know what's coming up. And then, of course, you can do, zooming in, zooming out, really just with the click of a button. It's very, very simple. And if you want your slide to cover that whole screen, as we just did, you can still see your notes. So even when that's going on, your notes stay there. And also when you're recording a lecture, and I think a few of you work in the graduate program, so you probably do a lot more recorded lectures than we do, but here's the best thing is when you make that screen big and you're recording, this is the perfect time to just pause, right? You know how we want to look at our notes for a minute when we're recording a lecture, make sure we know what's coming up. When that screen is big, you can hit pause, look at your notes, go grab a cup of coffee even, whatever you want to do. And when you come back, just hit unpause and the students don't even know that it happened because you've got the screen on just a picture. So it's really nice to your audience that pause or that transition is just seamless. They don't even know how much I look at my notes. Another way to use Prezi Video is to pre-record them and embed them into whatever you want to, but what we use is SoftChalk. Does the graduate program have SoftChalk? Do you guys use this at all? So the undergraduate program, SoftChalk is a free it's free. It's provided by UMB to us. And I bet you that you guys have it as well. You may just not know about it. So we could do a whole nother thing, Michelle, on SoftChalk. It is amazing. But let me zoom in. So really what it is just walk students through a lesson. So you can see this is page 5 of 8. We're teaching about autism spectrum disorders. And you can see me in the picture there. That is my actual recorded lecture that I recorded. So they'll come in, they'll hit play. We just talk about autism for about 15 minutes on that lecture. And then as you can see here, it says next, complete this sorting activity with signs and symptoms appropriate to autism. And so it actually, you can do questions, quizzes, matching, sorting, all kinds of different things. So that's a whole different thing. But what we really enjoy using Prezi Video for is to record those lectures with our content right there on our screen with us. And then we embed those right into SoftChalk, and it provides students with an entire lesson. So their psychosocial, genetics, behavior, cognitive, that lecture for our students is all online on SoftChalk, and it's all recorded with Prezi Video. So they still get that teacher feel. They still are seeing me and their content and all of that. So yeah, just you can ask around about SoftChalk, but again, it's a free service to us. We don't even have to pay for it. So and we love it. And the students love it because they watch a little video and then they answer some questions for their, I just call it a knowledge check where they match stuff, but they really enjoy it because it's interactive, and the grades will post straight to Blackboard for us too, if we decide to do that. Almost there, guys. Sorry. How am I doing on time? All right. Also, we just want to point out that while we're here talking specifically about, well, I am here talking about Prezi Video, that $36 a year subscription that you would pay if you wanted it, it gives you access to Prezi Video, Prezi Design, Prezi Present, all kinds of things. This is just a little screenshot I took of their online account and what you can see. I don't know, can you see that? There we go, we'll make it a little big, but you really have access to everything with that. And here's a quick screenshot of Prezi Design, where you can create different things. It's not just, it's not just this recording tool. You can create timelines and maps, charts, posters, whatever you want, any kind of infographic in Prezi Design, which is included with that subscription. So if you wanted to do something kind of cool and pretty easy to do, it's pretty user-friendly. You can, and then you can create something and embed it right into a presentation like this. So I just created a timeline for us here today, and I didn't want to, I just wanted to take a few minutes. We don't want to take all the time. And so here's my timeline, and I can put it right into my presentation. All right, so we know there's no perfect product for educators. If there were, I'd have it, because I try everything, right? I try everything once and see if it works and see how the students like it. They all have their strengths and their weaknesses, and Prezi Video is no different, really. So I did want to just do a slide of the pros that we think and the con. The main pro is that the students can see you and your content at the same time. Or maybe you just want them to see you and you don't want any content for a while, right? Like, I don't want you looking at this. I want you looking at me. I'm about to tell you something, right? However your teaching style is. But you really can have everything. You can have it where it's, both together, however you want to do it. But so the pros, students can see you and your content. It's really, really easy to record lectures that your students will hopefully stay more engaged in because they see you. It's real easy to import your PowerPoint slides, and it keeps those students engaged. The cons, though, it costs money, and we're broke teachers, right? So we don't want to spend a fortune. It's $3 a month. There's new tech to learn, right? It's still going to be technology. You'll still have to try it out a few times. There's no embedded videos right now, and that's the biggest drawback. And what we're hearing is that is the next thing that they are working on, is for you to be able to click a link and it'll play your video right in line with you. What I do when I'm using it is I just have my video open. So if I'm sharing your screen, I'll have a video open in another website. But that is the main con. That's the only con really that I have with the program, is that you just really have to, you can't use those cute videos and click quick clips like you would in PowerPoint. But the reality is sometimes in PowerPoint, those links don't work either. So we'll get there someday. So if you think Prezi Video is something you'd like to try, I highly recommend it. I love it. Once you register through Prezi in their online, so you would just Google, Prezi, and it'll take you there. You would then download that Prezi Video app. And that's what gives you this great recording software with your content right on the screen. Don't forget about the 2-week free trial offer. Certainly don't pay for anything until you know you're going to actually use it. And for me and we use it for almost everything now. But it's the perfect time to give this a try. Just try importing like one PowerPoint lecture over and see what you think. Just hit import PowerPoint, the slides will be there, and see how it works. We would love to hear how it goes if you do try it. I know I would. And don't be surprised if you start hearing from your students about how much they like it. Again, it's nothing different. I can put this exact same PowerPoint slides here that I would have had in the classroom, but they just like that it's different. They love that they can see you at the same time as your content. It makes them feel like they're there with you in the classroom again. And we hear a lot from the students. They really just love it. That's it for me. I hope I'm finished on time. We know that there's so much technology floating around. We're about to hear about another one, which I'm excited. I don't know anything about that one, and I'm probably going to try it because I try everything. And I know that we don't really want to add anything else to your plate, and we understand that we're all so busy and we're all drained right now. But if you're here today, you might be looking for something new, and this, really might be it. So if you're in the market for an easier way to record and present, maybe spice up your boring PowerPoint slides, this might be what you need. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me or Dr. Hoffman. I hate that she had to miss this today. She's out volunteering. So, and that's it. That is all for me. Woo! I did it, Michelle.
Did it. Thank you, Rebecca. That was so helpful to see it in action as you were presenting. I do think they should give you a commission because you really do sell it so well.
Or at least give it to me for free, right?
At least that. We had a couple of questions that I'll just ask you briefly now before we give Jim the mic.
Okay.
The first one, and I think Jim answered this, but is there an institutional license?
No, not that I'm aware of. There
is. I found it on the website. There's a bulk pricing. You have to buy 10 seats, and it's contact us for pricing. So.
Yeah, I'm not, I've only been here a year and a half still. So I'm not the one who's going to go and say, hey, we need you to pay for Prezi. They already pay for SoftChalk. And that, I'm telling you, if you're not using SoftChalk, it is paid for by the School of Nursing. And if you are teaching an online course, your students will love that as well. So definitely look into that too.
Yeah, maybe Christina, it's something that the Faculty Center for Teaching and Learning should look into. The next one was, is there a way, so when you put the slide up big, Rebecca, you disappear, which is great because you can look at your notes, but someone asked, is there a way to make you small so we can still see you a little bit when the slide is big?
No, nope, there's not. It's kind of all or not. It can be there, and my slides are different sizes. So that matters too. Like this one is this one pulled straight from PowerPoint is where I got this one. It's just a PowerPoint slide, but other ones you can see are different sizes as well. So like this one is a screenshot. And so that's why it's sized differently. But no, you unfortunately don't have a lot of control over that. You don't have a lot.
And last one, and I think I know the answer. Do you use it for synchronous online teaching too? And my sense is you can do it live, which would be synchronous and videos. You
can do it live. It doesn't really have the same effect live though, because your students can already see you. So there's not as much. My last university that I worked at, we actually did teaching to distance sites. So it was one faculty member in front of a class, but we also were distancing to other classrooms at the same time. And so it would have worked great for that, because that way, even if they're in a far away classroom, they could still see everything. But no, I mean, if you're just importing PowerPoints in, then in the classroom, it's just as easy to use those as well. So
great. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You're up, Jim.
I'm going to use a portion of my time to ask Rebecca one more question. So I'm a fan of VoiceThread. A number of the folks on this call know I'm a fan of VoiceThread. And one of the things VoiceThread does is that similar narration, but there's also an annotation tool. So you can like underline stuff and highlight stuff as you're going through a particular slide. It looks to me like you can't do that in Prezi. Is that?
I don't think so. Not that I know of. Now, I mean, I only use it for what I use it for. So I'm not going to, if you're a tech person that really is good at it, then you may find, different ways. But no, I don't think so.
Well, they just took my credit card while you were talking, so I'll let you know what I find.
Excellent. Please do.
All right, so screen share. Let me see here. Where am I? Excuse me 1 second while I make sure I've got the right screen up. Here we go. All right, so this is Loom. Loom.com. It's an easy address. Much like what Rebecca did, it's free or you can pay for an upgrade. The place I've found this helpful is if you're doing tutorials or training on web-based tools or software, or those kinds of things where you need to kind of do click here, click here, click here. It works very nicely for that. You just say new video and you record the video, and it says I can't get access because I guess I'm in screen mode or something. Let me pull this down for a second and resolve my software problem.
I think it's because you're using your camera, Jim, in Zoom.
Ah, okay. I think you're right. Well, such is life. So it really is very, very simple to record. So let me just show you one of the ones that I made, because that's just as easy as anything else. I mean, it really is just record and go. So here, you can just listen to me drone on about project management for a minute. Hi, folks. This is the project management tutorial for INNO 622. It is Thursday, the 22nd of April at about 3:14 in the afternoon. I am using a new tool for video recording called Loom. It's a web-based tool. I hope you like it. I think it's going to do the job for us very well and very easily today. And this is just the screen file that I had up in the sample project that we set up a couple weeks ago for the fundraising project for a local university. This is our Gantt chart view, and for last week's assignment, we put in all of the different resources that we would need. And just as a reminder, when you get these little red people on the side, that means you have a resource overload. If you right click, you will open up a dialog box that allows you to fix the overload in Task Inspector. Open that Task Inspector and it will tell you what's wrong with the task. In this particular case, what's wrong is that it starts on a Saturday, and we assume that the dean and the provost don't work on Saturdays. So we go down here to the option that says move task to resources next available time. We click on that. It reschedules the task until Monday, and it removes the resource constraint. So what we want to do now is add costs to the resources. The place that we do that is by going to our resource sheet. So you go here in the upper right-hand corner where it says Gantt chart, and you have all your drop-down views, and you have resource sheet, which should look familiar to you. All right, so it's that simple. It really is that simple. You just go to record a video, it gives you your screen, it gives you a mic, and away you go. And again, there's a free version and there's a paid version. Yeah, Isabel, I think it's a little more intuitive, I think, than Screencast-O-Matic is the big difference for me anyway. I know you did Screencast-O-Matic a while ago. And yes, it's you just post it as a link and it goes up as a web-based thing. So it's just a simple, easy little tool. And again, there's a free version and a paid version. I think the paid version is a little bit more than the Prezi one was. I think it might be $8 a month, but I haven't paid for it yet. I keep using it free for now. So I teach that class. I'm sorry, I teach that class again this spring, so I'll let you know whether or not I use up my free allotment.
I was going to ask about the free part, because I think Screencast-O-Matic is free for the first 15 minutes. I think we get cut off at 15 minutes. Isabel, you know better than myself.
Yeah.
Is this a time limited
I
amount?
think you're right, Michelle. I think it's similar, that it's like 5 or 10 minutes. You know. The question on recording on Zoom while sharing your PowerPoint, you know, I mean, you could do it that way too. I came across Loom in a external project that I was working on. I just thought it was cool and fun to play with. And so I just grabbed it and it works for me. I mean, you know, one of the things about this is there's enough tools out there now, happily, that some of this is personal preference too, you know, so.
So Jim, thank you for that demo. I noticed there were emojis and a comment at the bottom. So when
Yes.
students watch it, can they comment and
They can,
and
yes, yeah.
okay.
My folks didn't, but yes, they can. That's part of what it does nicely. That's my story, Michelle.
Great, thanks, Jim. Are there any other questions about Loom or for Jim?
I have a quick question, Jim. So you said it's a web-based link. So does the link expire after a while? Because I know I upload some videos on my YouTube channel, so they live there for who knows, however long YouTube will exist. But that's one of the reasons why I don't like sometimes we're using Zoom recordings, because the link might not work after a while, and I might want to reuse it several times. Do you know if there's a limit? So
I don't know, but
yeah.
I don't know, but the one I just showed, I made last spring, and it was still there when I logged on today. So.
It's a good question, Isabel, especially when we have content that we use over and over again in our online classes.
So I found that storing for Zoom, particularly for Zoom recordings, I can store them in OneDrive, and then I can make them accessible to anyone who is part of UMB, and that includes our students, and then just give them a link to the thing. I can post a link in the classroom, and they would log in with their UMID and password like they log into anything else, to access anything else. So that's one way to sort of, it's basically, I mean, OneDrive basically acts like Google Drive. So that might be a workaround for the time limit in terms of where having a link that's online.
That's a good point, Tanya. Good. Any other questions for our presenters today?
About the Loom, actually for both of you, Rebecca and Jim, I'm curious, if you record a video, does either program allow you to go back and edit something from the recording? I mean, that might not be necessary, but I'm just curious because I've been using a lot of Camtasia lately. I bought the expensive Camtasia a while ago, and I was like, I might as well use it. And so I've kind of gotten attached to like some editing. Maybe I spent too much time with it. I don't know. I love my video production. I use a variety of different programs, so I'm looking forward experimenting with these too. But I wonder, is there an editing function, or might that be part, especially for you, Jim, might that be part of the Loom that you have to pay for? Sometimes that's for the Screencast-O-Matic, you can edit a lot more if you have the paid for version. So I'm curious if you know, Rebecca or Jim, from your about the two programs about editing afterwards.
I don't know, but I'm looking right now to see what my options are if I upgrade.
For Prezi, no, if you record, once you are recording you would have to re-record it. Now, for us, since we use this mostly right now, since we're face-to-face again, we're using it mostly and embedding into those SoftChalk lessons, then we're just recording small bites. I only record for about 15 minutes on one topic. That way they can learn that, answer their questions, do their activities, and then they go on and they'll listen to another 15 minutes. So there's not much to edit in a 15-minute, little lecture.
Can you,
go ahead.
sorry, can you pause? So like, you're talking and you realize you've made a mistake, or not made a mistake, but you need to do something. You pause, and then can you restart in that same segment?
Absolutely. That's my favorite part, because I like, I want to make sure I say all the right points and everything that I need to. So when you make that screen big, the pause is seamless. So you pause then and do whatever you want. You can come back an hour later, unpause, and the students won't even know that you paused at that point. So yes.
Yeah, I think Loom lets you do that too, but I couldn't find a specific editing, Isabel, where you could go, roll back 15 seconds and take out the glitch in my voice or whatever. I mean, you heard when I did mine, I stumbled on my tongue at one point for a second. I don't try to edit too much of that out because I think it's humanizing, and the students go, okay, fine, yes, he is mortal.
It also adds to that feel that you're really there with them. I mean, why I tend to not even script too much of my lectures. And I just wanted to say that with the 15-minute limits on the free versions, that is not a bad thing, because I don't know about you all, but if I need to watch a video that's longer than 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, not happening. Sometimes I can watch the same content in like 10-minute pieces rather than watching 50-minute at once. So I think there's some advantage in a sense of keeping maybe the free version if you can't do longer than 15-minute videos. So
It's so true.
thank you for mentioning SoftChalk, Rebecca. I worked with Nina Trocki on some writing modules for her writing course, and we used SoftChalk with one of the instructional designers, and I loved it. So plug in for us to get it.
You should honestly, I feel like you guys should already have it. I'm certain it can't be just for undergraduate, right? I mean, and it is free, and it's Joanne Pinna, is that right? I think Joanne Pinna she's the one who gets you, and she just, you just saw, I need a SoftChalk, and she sends you the stuff, and she'll create folders for you, so you have unlimited space, because she has unlimited space.
It might just be a School of Nursing license. That's what I'm not sure. So it might just be
it is the whole School of Nursing.
Yeah, I don't think it's university-wide. So
okay,
big plug-in. We need it in the graduate school.
I think, Rebecca, we're going to tap you for next year for the OTC to talk to us about that. That would be wonderful. Well, in interest of time, we better wrap things up. Let me stop the recording